Let's do a tour of my new plant cabinet. I've had the cabinet for about 6 weeks now, and most of the plants have been in here the whole time, some not quite as long, but I'll start with this Hoya carnosa compacta. I got this Hoya over the summer, and she was outside on the deck until fall. Has not grown much at all, but these plants are notoriously slow growers, so I'm not worried about it. Her leaves are pretty, they're healthy. I'm sure once the root system gets fully established, it'll take off and show some significant growth. This little jewel orchid was a rehab gift from Anna. I had her in my prop box for quite a while, and recently potted her up into my soil substrate. She's doing fine. We'll see what happens. I don't remember what this node is. If I don't label something and look at the label every day to help me remember the plant, I definitely can't remember it without a label. So we'll see what happens there. This is a Hoya that, while it hasn't done much growth in my care, I've had it since December, it still makes me happy. It's a really pretty Hoya. It's AH074, and I suspect that, like the compacta, it's working on establishing a healthy, strong root system, and once it's established, it'll probably show growth at a pretty quick pace. I got this string of hearts and this, variegated string of hearts and string of turtles. I've got both of these this summer from Anna. I get a lot of plants from Anna. I realize I'm mentioning her name a lot, but I adore her, and her plants are so healthy and happy and beautiful. The string of hearts, maybe 2 weeks after I got her, really took off and had a growth spurt, and then sort of nothing since then. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, because I did recently repot her. And when I repotted her, there were some strands hanging over the side of the previous pot, and I wrapped those strands around the top to help it fill in. The string of hearts, though, has some really lovely growth hanging over the sides. Happy about that. These two Hoyas, this Croniana Eskimo, and this is a Shepherdii. I got these both in October. Neither of them have done much. This week I put them in a substrate called fluval stratum. This substrate is used by aquarium people, aquariumists, and a lot of plant folks have recently jumped on the bandwagon. They call it black gold, black magic. So I decided to put these two cuttings in the fluval, in the stratum, and we'll see what happens. I also put this pink princess in the stratum. I've had her since the end of November, and she's doing fine, nothing wrong with her, but she hasn't really shown any new growth or taken off, and I'm totally aware that she's just working on developing a strong root system, and once that happens, I'll see new growth. These two peperomia I purchased last spring when Diane and I went to Columbus. They were both sitting on the shelf in the living room in front of a window, since I brought them in after the summer. They were fine, but didn't do much growing at all. I put them in the cabinet once we had it set up, and they started to be much happier. One of them is a Piccolo Banda. The The other one in the back is a Peperomia Rosso, and that one really, really has taken off. This is a sundew, which is a carnivorous plant. Just about everyone who keeps houseplants knows that fungus gnats are a nuisance that come along with caring for houseplants. So I thought, I'll put this little sundew in the cabinet and let it eat some fungus gnats. Here we have a variegated Anthurium black dragon. So this plant is tissue cultured. With tissue culture, even if you have a variegated mother, that doesn't mean that the tissue culture babies will show variegation. So this is an experiment. We'll see. I do feel like I have a good chance. I feel like it might be starting to show a little variegation. Just have to wait and see. Hoya Pubicalix Hoya Super Splash. She has a new leaf, and I'm not going to turn her, but there's another new leaf on the way. So let me sit down, show you the middle shelf. This is the Stephania erecta that I received from Diane. Her little growth is peeking through. Philodendron branditinum, Philodendron brandy. Really pretty, slightly larger size leaves with a gorgeous silver splash. This Philodendron Pariso Verde is a cutting. I had it in water for a while, and I think I made a mistake by putting it into soil substrate too soon. The leaf started to get a little limp and not quite as happy looking as it was at first. And the petiole is not quite as strong as it was. So I took it out of the soil substrate and put it in the stratum, and had my fingers crossed. In the back is another tissue culture baby. This is a lime fiddle philodendron from a local, I call him super enthusiast, super hobbyist, Brian. This one was in my prop box for a while, and when I did all the planting this week in stratum, I thought I'd give that a try as well. This guy is a Monstera standeliana albo, and I won him in a raffle. How fun is that? It has 4 leaves, and each leaf looks like it has a new leaf starting. So that's pretty exciting. Another Anna plant. This was a gift of a 1-leaf cutting. This is the original leaf. And since it's been in my care, it's grown these 2 leaves, and it has another one on the way. Over here is a Hoya Crimson Queen. This new leaf, which has got a lovely pink, and it has, if I can get it to focus, I can't, but anyway, it's either the beginning of yet another new leaf, or it may be a peduncle, which is what I'm hoping for. Peduncles on Hoyas are what the flowers grow from. I haven't had a Hoya flower yet, so if this turns out to be a peduncle and it ends up flowering, I'm going to be over the moon. In the back is a little baby Melanochrysum, which I purchased as a cutting 2-3 months ago. Has a new leaf on the way. It's a variegated string of pearls that I got in January from Pandy's. Not much to report. She's just sitting there establishing herself. One of my top favorites, the Philodendron tortum, has a new leaf coming. I'm not doing a very good job getting things to focus. I apologize. I am certainly not a professional at this. Okay, so this one is a Monstera Latcheriana variegata. I purchased this and 2 other plants in December as cuttings. This and the other cutting haven't done a whole lot. They're fine, they're healthy, but they haven't shown any new growth. So today I decided to take it out of the soil substrate and put it in stratum, and I was pleased to see that the plant seems to have been sending all of its energy to the roots, because the root system is way more established than I was expecting to see. So while it hasn't been doing much on top, it's been doing a lot below the soil, which means that as the root system continues to establish, eventually it'll start doing something on top. Here's another tissue culture plant. This is a Belletiae philodendron, also commonly called a billy. This is one that I had wanted for quite a while. They're a little expensive, and I didn't want to spend the money. But then I saw that Brian was selling some tissue cultures, and I thought that would be a great way to add it to my collection. All right, so now to the bottom. In the back there, it's a Cebu blue, just sort of hanging out. This Monstera adansonii was a gift over the summer. It was one small leaf cutting. I had it in moss, sphagnum moss, I believe, outside on the deck. And all summer, it just wasn't doing anything. And there were times that it looked like it was on its way out. And I considered giving up on it quite a few times. But the person who gifted me the cutting is absolutely one of the sweetest people you could ever meet. So my heart could not let me give up on it. I kept going with it, and look at it now. A good reward for being tenacious. This Monstera adansonii variegata is one of the other purchases from December. It was a cutting. I had her in my prop box when she arrived, and I had the light. I had the plant too close to the grow light above the box, so I burned the new leaf that was emerging when she arrived. But it looks like she's finally starting another new leaf. This is new to my care from a few weeks ago. It's an Anthurium Fergetii crossed with a crystal red. Yes. It's acclimating. I'll report back once it starts doing something. This darling has been a treat to watch. It's a Philodendron White Princess. When I got her, she had 3, possibly 4 leaves, and now she has 7. Here we have started as a cutting. It's now a baby plant, a cream splash. A Philodendron Rio started as a cutting. It has had 1 leaf grow in my care, and it has another on the way. Here is another Philodendron Rio. This was 2 or 3 leaf cutting when I got it, and now it has 6 leaves with 1 on the way. thrilling. Behind her is a Burl Marx Fantasy cutting, taking her sweet old time establishing roots. So again, another one I put in the stratum. A variegated heartleaf philodendron. I purchased these 3 leaf node cuttings from Anna in January, I believe. Yes, January. Early January. They were in my prop box since then. Until this week, I potted them up in a soil substrate. They're gorgeous. This baby is Scindaptus pictus exotica. This cutting was gifted to me by a friend of mine who on Facebook goes by the name Walt Warren. Walt, look at how beautiful she is. My philodendron El Chaco Red has a new leaf coming. So this was the one of the 3 plants purchased in December that was happy and growing as soon as it arrived, and still is. This varicosum, philodendron varicosum, was purchased as a 2-leaf cutting. It's been a few months. I don't remember exactly when. Is it marked? End of January. So a 2-leaf cutting, had her in the prop box. The leaves continued to grow. The leaves were maybe, I want to say, a third of this size when I got the cutting. And a new leaf coming, a new leaf coming. I'm so excited. Cannot wait. All right, and then the last plant in this cabinet is this baby who came this week. This is an Anthurium peltagirum. This plant was on my wish list since pretty much the beginning of my journey with houseplants last spring. They're hard to find. They're not inexpensive. They're not bonkers expensive. Well, they weren't until recently. I mean, they're slightly expensive, but hard to find. Anyway, I looked at a few of them on Etsy for months and months and months and didn't want to spend the money. And then while we were away on our trip, this woman who has a YouTube plant channel, who is what the kids call them. She's an influencer. She mentioned this plant in a video about anthuriums, and when I saw that video, I thought, this plant's going to go crazy. There aren't going to be any left, and what are left, the price is going to skyrocket because her impact is that significant and that fast. So I didn't even finish watching the video. I paused the video. I went to Etsy. I found this one that I had been watching, and I wrote to the seller and asked if I made the purchase, would she hold it until we returned from our trip? And she said yes. So that's what we did. And the plant came this week. It was fine when it arrived. You know, it's a young plant. It's a little baby, and it had been shipped. So, you know, it wasn't gorgeous, but it was totally fine. And I put it in the stratum. And by the next day, it had totally perked up. The leaves got darker, and I couldn't be more thrilled. Okay, let me show you a few plants I forgot yesterday. Actually, the first one I'll show you I misnamed. I said it was a Rio, this cutting that I brought back from Florida. It's actually a silver stripe. And it's doing nicely, has new growth. I'm looking forward to it filling out so I can cut it and share the cuttings with friends. This is a black pagoda lipstick plant that in the past month and a half has gone bonkers. It has new growth all over. It has new growth in the plant. It has this long tendril. I'm not sure why this plant likes me as much as it does, but I'm happy about it. I'm actually not sure if it's so much a matter of the plant liking me versus the plant liking this particular window where it sits. But either way, I'm thrilled about it. Two other plants I forgot to show in the video I took the other day. This delightful watermelon peperomia, who is totally loving life in this spot. She seems to be getting just enough light. I'll show you one of my failures. This was a black ginger plant that was thriving and happy and then just wasn't. I keep meaning to look online to see if they have a dormant period. I'm hoping that's what it is and that it'll come back in the spring, but I'm also fully aware that I may have killed it. All right, this is Noor. Noor is definitely one of my top 5 favorite plants. She's a saloom. And I'm sorry I can't get the best pictures because of the light from the window, but she has a lot of new growth. Here's one. Here's another. There's this. And then let me come around here and show you these 2 nodes. So I saw these 2 nodes, and maybe 8 weeks ago, I would say, that's just a guess, I put this product on the nodes called Kiki Paste. It's supposed to help with growth, and within a week of applying the Kiki Paste, I saw them starting to pop a little bit, and we'll see what happens as they continue. And then I guess the last thing I'll show you are my prop boxes. I don't have a lot in them right now because I did some planting when we got back from our trip. But this little box is full of Scindapsus Silver Ann. And then my bigger prop box right now has mican cuttings and pothos. I believe this is the Enjoy pothos. So once these are better rooted, I'll take them out, and each group will go into its own pot. So I'll have one nice full pot of mican to share and one nice full pot of pothos to share. And that's it for today. Thanks for following me on my plant journey. I really enjoy it when I hear feedback from you guys and encouragement and messages that you appreciate me showing the plants. I enjoy that. Oh, I guess there's one more thing I'll show you. I got a ranunculus, 2 of them from Heinen's. Put them in this planter in the dining room. I think I'm going to get a 3rd to add to it. And then once the weather's warm enough, I'll put it out on the deck. Okay, happy weekend. Bye.